My very first job was a nanny because I love life. I want beautiful hair. And so I knew the only way to earn those things without doing funny things is to earn my own money.
What exactly are some of the principles that you went about that even anybody watching this and in business can attract what exactly they have in their mind?
I think you should try and connect your purpose to your business, or make your business your purpose. Because if you don't have a vision of where you're going and what you want to do, you lose hope. Number one. Number two, you lack clarity on what you need to be focusing on. You lack focus as well. You lack motivation as well. And you lack an accountability partner. Nobody is coming to discover you if you first don't say that this is who I am and I want to be discovered.
Good evening and welcome to the Late Night Business. My name is Ian Dennis, and tonight we have a very interesting show lined up because we're going to be addressing so many different issues from personal finance, vision, branding, and so much more. Because the guest I have with me tonight is so many different things: an author, personal branding coach, an executive coach. And before I get to reveal who my guest is, I'd like to let you know that we're here at the Capital Club, the place you need to be. One of the things that's in the world of business, you say, is that your network is your net worth. And to build your net worth, you have to be a part of the Capital Club, because once you're a member of the Capital Club, you have access to the who's who, and you can actually build meaningful relationship. The guest I'm talking about is Hannah Gichuki, who's also an author, and she's written a very interesting book, Flaunt Your Genius. And amongst it, you're going to be discussing the book, and you're going to be discussing so many different things. Thanks so much, Hannah, for coming. Nice to see you.
It is really good to see you.
Looking lovely as always.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And the first question I like starting with all my guests is, what exactly are you most grateful for today?
Oh, my goodness. Options. Can I just say I'm grateful for options? And I was actually saying this morning to my Instagram followers that the reason a lot of people are depressed right now and people want to give up and they want to commit suicide is because they have a perceived lack of options. They think this is it right here. There's nothing else I can do. And so when they feel that hopelessness, then they feel like it's the end of life. So for me, I am grateful for options. I'm grateful that I can see another way of doing something.
It's very, very interesting. Just expound for me further. What do you mean options? So options in terms of your ability to do whatever it is that you want to do, how you want to do it? Yeah,
like just saying there's not one single way to skin a cat. Did I just say skin a cat? Maybe that's very rude.
But it's fine. The guys eat cats.
There's not one way. There's not
to skin a
one
cow.
way to or to kill a rat. And I feel, and I've been there before, and I know a lot of people have been there before, are probably there right now, where you're faced with a problem or a challenge, and you're only thinking of one way to do it. And I've learned in my journey as a coach to help people look for more ways to do it. So when somebody comes and says, I can't do it, I can't move on, this is it, life is so unfair, I don't know what to do, then I want to ask them, have you done everything there is to do? Have you considered other options? What have you considered? Right? Can you list down that you have considered another way of doing it? Whether that be your business, your relationship, whether a relationship that is romantic or your relationship with other people, whether that be your education, whether that be whatever it is, your weight, right? Whatever goal that you want, have you considered all the options there are to consider before you say, I'm throwing in the towel, that's it?
Interesting. It's like I remember listening to this particular podcast and someone was talking about the aspect of not giving up. And when someone comes to you and says, I've tried everything, the person questioned the other person, have you, write for me everything you've tried. And then when you try to write, I'm like, there are only 5. In times in life, you have to try so many different things before something gets to happen. But talking about options, was there a period in time whereby you didn't have options? And how did you unlock yourselves to how you can look at life as options and how life can open for you different options?
Yeah, okay, I don't know if I would say there's a time I didn't have options. The options have always been there, but there are definitely times when I looked and thought, oh my God, okay, so I didn't get that business as a trainer. I've been a trainer for many years. And so I know there are times where I would walk into an office looking for business and I'm thinking, I have to get this client, right? If I get this client, they're gonna change my life. And when they say no, as a salesperson, then I would be thinking, oh my God, so what are we gonna do this month? So I know there are very many times that I walked into someone's office and when they said, no, you cannot train our staff, I would feel like I need to close this business. I need to get out of this business. What am I even doing? But then over time then, and I think also maturity, I have learned, and also becoming a coach, you know, I have learned that no, if that person said no, there's 1,000 other people who could say yes, you know. So knock on the other door and another door and another door. And that has also made me become a very good salesperson and also given me a lot of hope. And given me also a way to encourage other people and to push them and to challenge them to always look for the next door that they can knock.
Interesting.
Right? Yeah.
And just speaking about training, because I know you've been doing it for quite a while, and it's one of the things that makes you come alive, and I can always see it, and I know you always just share a lot about it. How did you find this it for you? Because I know one of the core things that you're very purposeful about is the aspect of purpose and getting to establish your purpose. How did you come into this?
Yeah, I like that question. Yeah, I love talking about purpose, and I love talking about purpose because I know we are not all the same. We are uniquely made and uniquely built. I'm a Christian, I'm a born-again Christian, so I know that there's something you were put here to do. Basically, there's a mission, and everybody was given a mission. Adam and Eve, go out there and multiply, right?
Seek dominion.
Right? Everybody has a mission, but I don't like it to look like it's something so complicated. You need to go finding it until you're scratching your head. Sometimes it's all around you. You just need to look around you and to see what is my design, what drives me, what are my experiences, what are my skills or skills that I'm willing to learn, what are my interests, what are my gifts, what is my nature. And then when you find time to really just think about those things, then you find that you've probably been living your purpose, or your purpose is right there. And so for me, when I talk about myself, is I found myself talking to people a lot, being in front of people a lot, saying things and encouraging people and challenging people, even since I was a young child, where I'm not afraid to go at the front and say, can we try this? How about this? And so I think that's the thing that got me thinking or considering that I knew one day I would be speaking in front of people or helping people with their challenges or in their journey. And that's how training came about, because I grew up in Tigodi, so when I came to Nairobi, one of my first jobs, probably the third job in Nairobi, was in a training firm.
What were you doing there?
So I was a corporate marketer for the trainings. That's when I was knocking all the doors, right? So I was a corporate marketer for the trainings. But then while there, I learned how to train because I would be given opportunities to just train on something, say a sales course. And so on stage, I came alive because I would see I'm imparting something on other people. And so I want to believe that that's when I found my purpose, that my purpose was to help people become better. My purpose was to live, and I say, by the way, and I say that's my mission in life, to leave people better than I found them, to help them become better people by what I say or do or suggest, right, or live.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And a core thing around purpose is that, as you've mentioned, and I also believe the same is in terms of that's primarily you have to find it, you have to unlock it in yourself, and you have to understand the mission you're here. But it's not given that everybody's going to convert their purpose into a business. How did you go about it? And from your lessons in terms of converting this particular identified purpose into a business, how has it been for you?
And I think you should. I think you should try and connect your purpose to your business, or make your business your purpose. Does that make sense? So it's either way. So if you cannot find a way to, if you cannot find your purpose, there are people who say, oh, I'm looking, I can't find. I usually say, look around you and see what are you doing and enjoying. And probably you will find that is what you're meant to be doing. So if that's your business that you're running, then turn it into your purpose. So when you turn it into a purpose, it becomes something bigger than you, and it becomes more than just profit. It becomes more than just making money. It becomes something about helping another person, serving another person, changing another person's life. It becomes your life purpose. So, so it's either way. You make your business your purpose, or you find your purpose and then make that purpose your business. Because God is not unjust. So for him to give you those gifts, he knew you would need to eat. He knew you would need to feed other people. He knew you would need to serve other people. And so he expects that you're going to use that, those gifts, to serve another person.
Interesting. You've mentioned earlier on that you're previously employed, and maybe just take us through for how long were you employed, and how did you make this transition now from employment to deployment? I've been listening to a lot of Miles Monroe. I've been trying to learn about the kingdom and all that stuff, and I came across this. It's very interesting, employment to deployment, which provided means to business. How was that particular transition like for you?
Yeah, and I worked for a minute, by the way, for a good minute. My very first job was a nanny. Yay, by the way. I was
a nanny?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nanny or nanny?
Let me tell you, I think high school from Form 2, even when I finished high school, before college, I was a nanny for Mzungu kids. I was a nanny for missionary kids. Because I love life. I want beautiful hair. And my parents didn't tell me to go become a nanny. But I want beautiful hair. I want good shoes, you know. And so I knew the only way to earn those things without doing funny things is to earn my own money. So I became a nanny. When I was probably 15 years old, I was a nanny for a minute. Whenever I closed school, then I would go and nanny. Yeah, a babysitter basically. Let me just call it a babysitter, because that's what they called us. That's what you call them. So I would babysit Mzungu kids. Then I graduated, so these people look at me and they're like, she's so smart. You know, these Mzungus, she's so smart. Then they say, can you start teaching our children? Helping them with their homework. So I start like that. Eventually.
For an extra fee?
Yes, of course. So can you teach us Kiswahili? Because we want to serve in Lodwar. We want to serve in Marsabit.
You just want to give back to this community.
No, so I become a Swahili teacher. So I worked as a nanny. Then I worked as a Swahili teacher for the Mzungus. And then I worked as a waiter as well. I knew how to do all the
That's when you're still in high school?
No, now.
That's post high school. So a nanny?
High school.
Even after high school?
Nanny 2 years in high school. And 1 year after high school. Then transition into Swahili teacher for children, Swahili teacher for adults, the Mzungus, then transition into a waiter, and then a front desk operator at Brackenhouse International Conference Center in Tigoni. That's where I grew up. And then, Nairobi life. So when I came to Nairobi, first job was Multi-Choice Kenya.
What are you doing there?
Selling.
Interesting.
I have really sold. So I was selling these DSTV packages. Then after that, I worked for a training firm, and that's when I found my calling, that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's employment still. And then I attempted to start my own training firm. It didn't work, so I jumped back into employment and I worked for Diamond Trust Bank, and I was doing customer relations.
Interesting.
So Diamond Trust Bank is when now I knew I needed out completely, because then I would use almost all my weekends training. Because remember, people already know me as a trainer, so I would use my weekends training, and so that's when I knew I cannot be here for long. Worked there for probably 3 years, and then I jumped out and started went out on my own.
So how was your jump out? Because had you prepared yourself with it, or is it that like, I know I'm just done, I just can't be answering calls and talking to all these clients
and see, I couldn't do that because I still need money, I need to make rent, I need to do that. So I know for sure my jump out was helped, was assisted by my husband, because it got to a place and I knew if I couldn't make rent, then my husband would
at least will come
pay
in
rent. And if I couldn't get food, he would feed me. But at the same time, while I'm still doing Diamond Trust Bank, on the weekends, people know me as a trainer. So I'm always getting gigs here and there. So I wasn't empty completely. So I already had a going concern. I already had a running thing going. People know me as a trainer. So I knew I would get gigs here and there. And my husband would feed me. I wouldn't starve. So he really helped me to jump out and go on my own. Interesting.
So having a good spouse is part of the journey.
Not just a spouse, relationships, having good relationships. Building relationships is one big part of when you want to build your business, when you want to build your personal brand. You cannot ignore relationships.
Interesting. And now getting into training, how long was that particular transition like before you can say that the business became stable, or before you had built your brand? How exactly was that particular journey? And looking back into that journey, what are some of the lessons that you learned out of that?
Oh, that journey has not ended. So that journey is still ongoing, but definitely with a lot of lessons and a lot of learnings. So I can't even put like a time period and say it took a year or it took 2 years, but it was something that I did so consistently that now my name became Hannah, the business trainer, you know, and I started introducing myself as that. And I removed that perception of Hannah the banker, Hannah the what, and I put in I want people to know me as Hannah the trainer, you know. And so I did the training consistently, and it didn't matter. Oh my God, let me tell you, there's something I would do. So I had very little children.
Yes.
I hope my husband will allow me to say this. I had little children. And sometimes, because of the passion, I love training, by the way. I love imparting knowledge and sharing my knowledge with other people. And there are days I would be called for a gig of 10,000 shillings, okay? And I want to go do that thing and come back home. And my husband would ask me, how much are you going to make? I said, 10,000. He's like, utaweka gari mafuta, uende all the way, Nakuru, Naivasha, ulipwe 10,000 shillings, uache the baby here, and then you come back again because of 10,000 shillings. And I would tell him, it's actually not the 10,000 shillings. It's not. It's not about the 10,000 shillings. It's what I'm doing that I'm enjoying. I can even do it for free. So to answer your question, I think for me, it's something that grew over with time, and I would still go whether it was 5,000 shillings or 10,000 shillings, or if people said, can you just come and do for us? And then
baraka.
you know, and you know, and then we will expose you to the other ones in our branch, and then they will pay you. And sometimes I would even take those just because I really wanted to grow my brand as a trainer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I think I like that when you mentioned that it's always driven by, what's it called, the value you're going to create there, and just understanding the journey. And one of the core things that as you've mentioned also earlier on, you specialized in being a business trainer. And one of the aspects around it is around branding. Why did you decide this? What exactly now instigated this?
Yeah. Again, you see the way now I transitioned from work to doing this, and this is what I love to do. And I started creating my brand. I knew that anybody can actually create their brands. They can actually move from being known as one person to being known as another person. And again, this is a whole lot journey that started in USIU. Even before, like I went fully into training, and I knew for sure. Actually, maybe I should tell you that story. Yeah. When I left Tigoni, I was 24 years old. So me, I came to college when I was an old person. Ah, interesting. How come? Because I finished high school, and you see, I'm telling you, I'm working all these jobs. I finished high school, and there's no money to go to college because I have a sister who has to go first. And then my dad and mom, they know I'm a strong personality, so they know I can take care of myself, like I won't throw tantrums. So my other sister also ends up going to college before me. She skips me because they probably know if she doesn't go, she's going to feel a certain way. But if I don't go, I can take care of myself. Me, I'm already nannying. I'm already doing all these things. So really, anyway, so I don't go to college for a good minute. I did a few diplomas here and there, but I didn't go to college to get my undergraduate because there's no money. So anyway, so by the time I got to come to USIU, I was almost 24 to start my freshman year. So I get there. That should be when you should be ending your university. Thank you. So I get to USIU. And remember, I'm used to leading back there. I'm used to standing in front of people. And I had parents who encouraged me a lot, and they thought I was all that, right? Like I'm a strong person. So I really didn't need to speak for myself because I knew my things will speak for me. I'm confident of what I'm what. So I get to USIU, and I go to my first class, and I know people don't notice me. And I'm like, who are these people? In Tigoni, I'm the it. Like, people know. People know they want a youth leader, Hannah. They want someone to lead a mission. At some point, I was a missionary, by the way, for a whole year. So they know they want somebody to go to Tanzania and lead a mission. It's Hannah. Now, come to USIU, everybody speaks proper English. Everyone looks good. And everyone is confident, actually. And Hannah is nowhere. Like, who knows Hannah? And in USIU, the first term, the first semester, I really suffered because I kept thinking, the teacher is not even asking me, Hannah, what do you think about this? Me, I'm used to this. You're used to that, And so it actually dawned on me that if I don't tell these people who I am and what I can do and how I can contribute, I will never get an opportunity. And so before the first term ended, I went to the career office and I told them, oh, by the way, this is my name. This is what I've done. I've been a waiter before. I'm looking for opportunities. And she's the one who said, go to the notice board and you will find things that you can do. Also, there's a business club here. Also, and so I started joining all these things, and I went to the notice board. First thing I saw there, advertisement, multi-choice, seniors, seniors, okay? I'm a freshman.
Yeah, but you're a senior.
But I am a senior. So I apply for this position, and I go for this interview, and Richard was a multi-choice person interviewing us. He looks at me, looks at my CV, and he says, but you're a freshman.
Yeah.
I say, yeah, but I'm older than everybody here. I have more experience than everybody here. They're all 4 years, eh?
Yeah.
I have experience, more experience. I have done this, and I get the job. So you see that bit of, I had to go say I can do it for me to get that opportunity. The opportunity could not come to me if I didn't. That's why my personal branding journey began. And I knew that if people don't brand themselves, if they don't shine the light on themselves, they probably will never get anybody to shine it on them.
That's very interesting. And before we go on a commercial break, maybe out of that experience, because it's such an interesting story, what did you learn around personal branding that, what's it called, maybe just looking back, were some of the core lessons you can share to the audience watching this?
Say, you are the only one who knows what you can do, and who else knows? So you're a good cook, and you want to make it into a business. We don't live with you. We don't know. We're not your siblings. We don't know you can cook a mean getheri, right? So the first step, you have to tell us. And once you tell us this is what you do, please get cooking, because we want to sample it. We want to see you talking about it, and we want you to cook it good, so that when you say you cook good, then we can taste that you cook good, you know? So I'm trying to say that people do have a perception of you, but you need to create the perception that you want people to have of you. That's personal branding. You've got to shine the light on yourself first before you get ambassadors to talk about you. Before you get people to go preaching and saying, Dennis is a good cook, Dennis is a... You need to say, you're a good cook. Otherwise, nobody will ever discover what you can do, and nobody will ever discover you.
Interesting. It's like the story in the Bible of just making sure your light is on top of the hill, or having your light shine on and then maybe putting a bowl on top of it. Interesting. And on that particular note, you're going to take a short commercial break, and then after that, you're going to shine on so many different aspects around branding. So see you after the break. So welcome back to the show. Before you went on a break, you're just having this particular discussion as to how Hannah came into personal branding, and she just told about your experience at USIU and how you got your first job. Just now, I just want to go into personal branding, and you authored a book some years back, Flaunt Your Genius. First of all, what is flaunting your genius?
Flaunting. Yes. You know, when someone is flaunting, it's like they're showing it off. But again, really, it's not in an arrogant way. And I will always say that yeah, shine your light. Before other people go and speak about you, preach about you, and shine the light on you, you've got to shine it first. They need to know what you're about. So flaunting your genius is about that, and saying that, you know what, this is what I do, this is who I am, and this is how I can help you. This is the value I can offer. So hey, come and support me. And I know a lot of people start from there, that people say, come and support me, come and... What are we supporting? What are we supporting?
How many support?
How many support? what do you want us to support? Because I think we want to support a going concern. We want to support something that you're already doing. We can see you doing. And when we see you doing it, it means you believe in it, right? So when you call us to come and support, at least we even have an idea of how to support you. Right? Yeah. So the personal branding book, Flaunt Your Genius, is really about shining your light. And Flaunt is an acronym, actually. And it's an acronym because of the benefits that personal branding brings. And the F is for favorable outcomes. You know, when you brand yourself, you get a lot of things, and we can talk about money, we can talk about connections, we can talk about so many other things you can get, you know. And the L is for lucidity. Lucidity is clarity. When you start branding yourself, it really helps you. And that's why people say, I want to do so many things. And I keep saying, no, you've got to limit yourself for you to find limitless opportunities, for you to become the it, for you to become the expert of what you're doing. People have to see you limited to a particular thing. And it's limited and not limited. In fact, when you limit yourself is when you don't limit yourself. You know, so it really gives you lucidity, that's clarity. And then the A and the U is for authenticity. When you start branding yourself, man, you become authentic. You become, people are attracted to you because you're bold about something. You know, you believe in something and you're going forth and fully into it. And then the other one is a what? The N. The N is for notes. Of course, it gives you money. And I'm a personal branding coach who helps people to create profitable personal brands. So profit for me is important because we talked about purpose. You want your purpose to be able to feed you and to feed other people, you know, so the note is for the money that it gives you, and it's money and many other things. And then the T is for tie-ins, where, like we just said, when you start going on your course, you find tie-ins, you find support, you find a community, you find ambassadors, you find people who come and preach about you. So the book is about that, and also it's about the steps that one can take to start creating a powerful personal brand.
Interesting. I want to just focus also on authenticity that you've also mentioned. We're in a world whereby social media literally literally has a lot of influence, and a lot of people want to want to replicate someone else because I've seen it on social media. So it's very difficult to remain authentic in this particular modern day and age whereby I see this person on Instagram was posted this and I want to be like this. How do you remain authentic, and how can your authenticity be matched with your brand?
Yeah, just be yourself. And I don't know who said that. I don't know what quote, who said that quote, that be yourself because everybody else is taken. It's the truth. You are yourself, and it doesn't matter if you're doing something that 10 other people are doing. You are you. You are unique. There's something so different about you. There's a way you can run this show that another person can't run this show. Maybe it's because of the way you smile in between the episodes. Maybe it's the way you raise your voice. Maybe it's the way you connect with your audience. Maybe it's the way you're playful. I like to say I'm a very playful person. And I'm so playful. It doesn't matter what.
It's very difficult to be serious all through. Today I'm trying to be so serious, but I'm like, so many dad jokes are biting.
I'm telling you, like even like when it's corporate governance, you know, it's a very corporate-y topic, but I will find myself throwing a joke here and there because that's who I am when I'm delivering my message, and that makes me unique, you know. And so I think it's for people, first of all, to know that without authenticity, you're not gonna go anywhere, because guess what? You're gonna be faking it, and you're gonna be living another person's life. Can you imagine living another person's life the whole of your life? It's like you're in this jacket, you just want to get out. You just want to get out. Something is pushing you to get out, right? So you're in a room, people are saying things, you're agreeing with them because you want to be seen, to belong in the group, but then something wants to come out and you're holding it back. I'm telling you, if you never let it out, if you never become who you are, you will live a very frustrated life, extremely frustrated.
Interesting.
So you got to be authentic. And by the way, there's nothing about finding your authenticity. It is being who you are. It's just living your authenticity.
And just being true to yourself.
And being true to yourself. And not being afraid to look not popular. And by the way, when you go on YouTube and social media, the people who are so authentic,
and also,
those are the ones who end up becoming very attractive and very sexy. People want to listen to them. Because they're like, what? Yanni, he's not even wiping, he's just going. He's not even correcting that, he's just going. Did he just say that on air? He's just going, and I'm not saying being disrespectful, just being bold about the things you care about. Yeah.
Interesting. And another thing I know you're also very passionate about is about visions. And I know you've, very passionate about the vision board and how someone can go about the vision board. Maybe you can break it down to us, because I think you've already talked about purpose, finding yourself. But there's nothing as bad as finding yourself and not knowing where you're going. And maybe I just want us to talk about the vision and the vision board. How does one, charter their vision?
100%. And the vision boarding for me is very much connected to your personal brand. Because if you want to create a powerful personal brand, you've got to at least have clarity on where you want that to go. On how that picture looks for you. Okay? So you want to be a renowned speaker, a world speaker. How does that look like? That's your vision. You know, that's your imagination. That's what you see. That's how it looks like. And then you start working backwards to make sure, or to put in the steps that are going to get you to where you want to go. And so for me, vision boarding is a practice that, and by the way, when I started doing vision board parties, because I started doing vision board parties in this country 7 years ago, it was seen as, it's just for girls hanging out and having coffee.
Yeah.
Now, I'm doing vision board parties in corporates, in boardrooms. Yesterday I got a call, I won't say who, but I'm about to do a very big vision board party for a big corporate organization, multinational organization. Yeah. These are people who are in management, executives, they want personal vision boards, you know? Why? Because someone, you know, even the Bible says that if you don't have a vision, you perish. You know why? Because if you don't have a vision of where you're going and what you want to do, you lose hope, number one. Number two, you lack clarity on what you need to be focusing on. You lack focus as well. You lack motivation as well. And you lack an accountability partner, because your vision board becomes your accountability partner to tell you, hey, by the way, this is where we're going. That is the end game. So, hey, what are you doing to get us to the end game? So, my vision board journey started when I was probably 18 years old, because I just finished high school.
How did you come to?
Thank you.
Yeah,
you know, these things.
Because I'm realizing like your life is connected. It's like connecting the dots.
Completely. And so I find I was 17. I just graduated from high school. And so I grew up in a
That's years before freshman.
Thank you. Way before freshman. So I grew up in Brackenhurst, and mostly it was Muzungus. Muzungus everywhere. You work for Muzungus, you work with Muzungus, you go on missions with Muzungus. So I find one of my friends, some white girl, she has a photo album. She's cutting things from the magazine. She's putting them in her photo album. And I ask her, what exactly are you doing? And she says, oh, this is what I want. This is how I want my life to turn out. I'm like, what? So I look, and she's putting beautiful houses. She's doing this. And I don't even ask much, because I don't even think she understood much. Yeah. But for me, it started for me a practice of, wait, I have always had dreams. Remember, me growing up in that Muzungu neighborhood, I had seen so many things that we didn't have in our family. I'd seen people with beautiful cars. I'd seen people going on holiday. I'd seen beautiful weddings. I'm seeing that community, right? I'm seeing people going to the Mara, like a holiday. Look at butterflies.
The only Mara you know is Mara Moja.
Thank you. or Maziwa Mala. By the way, I love Maziwa Mala. Mas Kikuyu Mara Mala.
Mara.
Yes,
Mara.
Mara.
Maziwa Mara. Or Mara. Anyway.
Oh, Mara. You know? And so for me, because I'd already had so many things that I wanted for myself, and I used to play that game with my sisters. I don't know if you played that with your siblings, where you open a magazine and you say, I'm Kikuyu, by the way, so we'll open and then see a big house of Wakwa, and then the other person, Wakwa, is mine, it's mine. So we were playing that game, and so there are things I want, right? So this girl gave me an idea that what? Yani the things I want, I can be cutting, putting in a photo album, and then, anyways, that's when my vision boarding journey started. And everything I would see, or think about, or admire. It doesn't matter whether it's by the way, it's a whole story. We can't do it in this show. It's a whole story. Because if I start telling my vision board stories, you will just, it'll be a long one. So anyways, anything with my education, I wanted to get a degree, where I wanted to live, the children I wanted to have, all these things. I started cutting pictures and putting my photo album. That's how I want my wedding to look like. That's how I want. And so from there, I became a vision boarder, and I did not start one single year without having a vision of this is what I want to happen in my life. So vision boarding. Way later, when I came to SIU, and 7 years ago, I'm seated with my friends at cafe. We're having coffee, and then I say, oh, I'm going home to do a vision board with my children. They're like, a what? I'm like, vision board. Oh, what's a vision board? Because you see now later the vision book became vision board. I mean, after going to training, I learned about the law of attraction. So I realized people now they're called vision boards. So it's continued from vision booking to vision boards, right? So when I said I'm going to do a vision board with my kids and they didn't understand, I was like, people don't know. And one of the ladies said, why don't you teach people how to do it? So that's when I started now helping people with their vision boards. It's a visualization tool.
Interesting. And something that you've mentioned, I know we didn't go so much into it, and maybe I can take the conversation quite back, is in terms of how your upbringing literally influenced you a lot, the things you'd observed, the neighbors that you had, they gave you the first employment. Maybe just paint for us the picture, maybe in Tigoni, because you've just mentioned it, and I know you didn't go so much into it. Maybe I can now go back. I didn't want to go back so much, because I know you currently have so much than your past. But how was your upbringing like in Tigoni?
Let me tell
and
you.
why in Tigoni? Because right now we know Tigoni is a lavish place.
Oh, and it's beautiful,
Yeah,
and
it's very beautiful.
lavish.
Yeah.
But with those beautiful homes, and I would also like to go and own a home in Tigoni, by the way. I love this, it's my home, like I love being there. So Tigoni is beautiful. There is also Brackenhurst. Now, whenever there is a beautiful place with beautiful homes, there's always people who work for those people, right?
It's like Karen and Kibera.
Exactly. So Brackenhurst also is a very contained place, and especially those days it was white. It was probably 90% white. Now in Brackenhurst there is a theological college. So my dad is a pastor. I'm a pastor's kid.
Yeah.
Right? So inside Brackenhurst there is a theological college where my dad used to lecture and teach pastors. Okay, so that's what my dad
dad was
used
a
to
pastor
do.
for pastors.
Pastor for pastors and lecturer for pastors, all right? So we were shielded because it's a Mzungu area. We had apples growing in our
it was
garden.
the theological center was run
Was
by
inside,
Mzungus.
yes, inside Brackenhurst, run by the International Mission Board,
Yeah.
Mzungu, everything Mzungu, right? So my dad was a worker. He was a worker in that college, and a lot of black people also were, and also a lot of Mzungus were lecturers there. And so me growing in there, we were very shielded. Shielded in terms of everything is beautiful and green, and our lawn is being mowed.
Yeah, I can try to imagine.
And it was just good. We had apples and strawberries in our garden. But in our home, inside and we lived in a 3-bedroom home, bedroom, beautiful, fireplace, kila kitu, the things you hear about Mzungu places,
the
okay,
Mzungu
the cottages,
culture.
the Mzungu culture. That's what we had. But the mshahara, the salary was so little for my dad. He's black. He's never been to America. He didn't even have a degree at that time. So he's a teacher. He's being paid like a teacher. You understand? And so the life inside the home is not the way it looks. So even the school I went to, I mean,
your environment did not match the actual substance.
It doesn't match completely. And so what that did for me, it helped me to dream. And I would dream, why? I'm being exposed. I'm going to Christmas parties with Mzungus where we were sampling macaroons. And at the house, we're eating our normal ugali and sukuma wiki.
And githeri.
And the githeri. Is it making sense?
And pasta.
And you know, so I'm getting...
Pasta eating pasta.
Pastor eating pasta.
Yes.
So for me, seriously, I got exposed to a life that was not my life. Does that make sense? And exposure is important. I like to say exposure is important. I knew Village Market before people knew Village Market. I watched movies at Village Market. I was bowling at Village Market when Village Market was the old Village Market. I was doing miniature golf at Village Market.
Or through your friends?
My dad, my Mzungu
friends.
The Mzungu friends, the Mzungu parents, they're like, oh, Hannah, we can
Let's go bowling.
I knew the Java menu like this. So I know about the banana split, I know everything, but then at home, we're not living that life. That's not who we are, but I'm getting all this exposure. Christmas party, sleeping in a tent, I mean, it's beautiful. Looking at butterflies and chameleons, I'm getting exposed to all this, but Monday morning, go to Umoja Primary School where 90%, 95% of the kids are not wearing shoes, probably just my family and 2 other families. You know, and so, you understand. In fact, I used to be called Hannah Kamudogo, Kabrakemi.
Mzungu Bracken.
Kamudogo. I was very light. I'm coming from Brackenhurst. I speak
you picked some accent.
Some little bit of accent here and there. You know, and so you understand? And so that helped me to dream because I'm thinking, wait a minute. Because you start understanding that my dad is not...
you're from there, but you're not
I'm
of
not
there.
from here, but I'm not of here. And so it helped me to dream because I'm dreaming. I want this. This is the life I want. I want to live this kind of life. I want to eat macarons. I want my kids to one day do the horse riding things. I want them to
go
do
bowling
that.
And all that.
But for me to do that, I need to have a dream that's bigger than my dad's. I have to dream out of this space. For me to have my own car, for me to eat at Java, for me to go to the village market, for me
True.
to watch movies, for me to go bowling,
Yeah.
for me to play golf. I need to start. That's how I started dreaming. So my dream was bigger than, if I told you about my dream those days, and a lot of people did, they would ask me, are you living with us? Are you with us? Are you, you understand?
Yeah.
So yeah, so if that lays the ground for you, that's exactly what was happening when I was growing up.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
when you're speaking about the vision board, one of the core things that you mentioned about is the aspect of attracting, what's it called, the things to you. What exactly are some of the principles that you went about that even anybody watching this and in business can attract what exactly they have in their mind? Because you grew up in an environment that was not yours, you exposed a lot, you formed a vision. How did you go about that?
So that's the thing. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. You do a vision board, hang it on the wall, that's it, you go. It doesn't work like that because it's not magic.
Yeah.
It looks like magic when it happens, but it's not magic. So you have your vision board, so you have your dream. For example, let me just talk about one of the dreams, okay? So I have the dream right there, and I've written, because during my years, those days, then you get out and go to SIU to do ministry work, mission work. Okay. So I go to SIU and I say, this is the university I want to come one day, and this is where I will come. Get the brochure, cut it out, put it on your vision board, because you're going to go to SIU. But USIU is not going to happen if you just sit.
True.
Okay, so you have it as your dream and your goal. What will it take for me to go to USIU? So I need to find out, how much does USIU cost?
Yeah.
Who has been to USIU before?
Yeah.
What questions can I start asking? What do I need to put in right now? With the little salary I'm getting as a waiter, what do I need to start putting in for me to at least have a small chance to even make the application, which was 3,000 shillings, right? The application.
Yeah.
What can I put in with what I have right now to first make the application, get accepted, and then what next? And so you see, you have your big dream, but then you start working backwards. What does it
Take. Yeah.
You want to start doing a show at Capital Club? What does it take?
Yeah.
Who else does a show there? Who's there? Who knows who? What can I do? Who do I need to talk to? Do I need to save some money? How much money? So yeah, exactly, putting in the actions for you to get to the big goal. Yeah.
Interesting. Before we come to an end, I have some quick fire questions for you.
Oh, we're ending the show already.
Imagine time flies so fast. You need to have a part 2. My goodness, even for me, I can't believe when I nation mkono mbili hapa, I'm like. But it's all cool. I think we need to do another part 2 because there's so much to talk about. Time is just a bit limiting. So let's just go. What's your hobby?
Oh, right now? Oh my God, what's my hobby right now? God. And it's supposed to be a quick fire.
Yeah.
Do I know what my hobby is right now? Can I pass?
What's your favorite day of the week?
Oh, Monday.
At what age do you want to retire?
I don't want to retire.
What does a person need to be happy?
Oh, a vision, a goal.
What's been your best age?
Oh, the age I am right now.
Climb a mountain or jump from a plane?
Climb a mountain.
Who inspires you?
My dad.
Would you rather be social or would you rather be alone?
Oh, social any day.
Will you read a book or watch a movie?
Oh, read the book.
Freedom or money?
Oh, freedom any day.
Sleep on the right side or on the left side of the bed?
I don't care.
As long as you sleep.
Yeah.
Maybe just any final advice for any person watching this with regards to branding? That final takeaway.
With regards to branding,
Yes.
No, I think what I will say is, seriously, and I think they've had this before, nobody is coming to discover you if you first don't say that this is who I am and I want to be discovered. So your talent, as much as it's amazing and you think you're all that in a bag of chips, is not going to do anything for you if you don't raise your hand and say, by the way, this is who I am, this is what I care about, this is what I can do, this is a value I can give you. Please, let me help you, because it's also about serving another person.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, and the end on that particular note, and hope you've served you, because I'm here to serve you. I always like to pick those things. And I hope you've learned from this particular conversation with Hannah Gichuki, who's the CEO of Inside Out Development. He's also the author of Flaunting Your Genius. He's also an executive coach, so many things. And I feel this episode, primarily, we need to do a part 2 out of this. And you're going to plan for that. Thanks so much for having watched the show. As always, we're coming to you at the Capital Club. So one of the things within your vision board should be joining the Capital Club, because within the Capital Club you have so many people that you can actually network with, but also here you also get to have access to so many different amenities. You can do your gym here, you can do your meetings here. Literally you can have your whole day here and everything's going to go out as planned. My name is Ian Dennis, and thanks so much for watching the Late Night Business. Until next time, I'll see you right here on KTN Home.